Kazan is the capital of Tatarstan, one of the biggest and most independent of Russia's so-called national republics. It's a city where two cultures have lived side by side for centuries, producing a unique architectural and artistic blend. I'm meeting with Ilnur, a member of contemporary art centre Smena, to find out how a new generation are reimagining Tatar culture for the modern world, with artisan workshops, pop music and more.
Now we are in a place called Smena. It's a center of contemporary culture, but inside of Smena we have a bookstore. The difference between this bookstore and other bookstores is that we have independent publishers, and I think it's the only Kazan bookstore with these kind of books. And we have a coffee shop here and a vinyl shop in the first floor. All the furniture which is here is made by Kular. We will see and talk to them later.
Okay, cool.
In the second floor we have exhibitions with contemporary artists.
Okay.
And I think it's the only place in Kazan where you can watch and observe the contemporary artists from Russia and abroad. We're going to a workplace called Kular. Kular is translated from a Tatar hands, and this is the local guys who are working with their hands. And Kosti from Kular, I think he will tell you more about what they're doing. They're working with some materials to make a furniture for the homes.
Okay.
And also they recently opened a workplace where another guys who are working with their hands and doing something can rent and work here with them in the same place.
Let's go. So what's the idea behind Kular?
Our idea make unique furniture from Tatarstan and Kazan. We use public ornaments, Tatar ornaments.
We ordered all the Tatar food on the menu.
Yeah, we have.
So what have we got?
Here we have gobudia. It's like a pie, sweet pie. Kostromin, it's like flat bread with potato in it. Chak-chak, which is basically dough with honey. Треугольники, it consists of potato and meat.
Okay, well, let's get started.
Yeah.
This is Gradskaya Kemal Tatar National Academic Theatre, and it's the oldest national theatre in Russian Federation. And the most interesting thing about it, I think, that all the performances are in Tatar.
All of them?
All of them.
Okay.
And we have translated plays, for example, classic plays by Molière, Shakespeare as well,
Okay.
and it's in Tatar too. So
Wow.
our even young poets and playwrights, they translate Shakespeare.
If all the plays are in Tatar, then how do your Russian audience understand?
Yes, thank you, Sam. We do have Russian audience, and we have a Russian translation, also English translation. But it's not just subtitles like in all other theatres.
Okay.
It's a live translation.
Live translation?
It's live translation in your headphones.
So, Rustam, can you tell me a bit about Prometheus?
So we are really now in this old university building in the center of Kazan.
So now we are working with the different objects and actually different research and archive in these walls actually.
What was Prometheus?
Prometheus was invented with the Bulat and his group of people 56 years ago.
Okay.
And that was like group of enthusiasts that really want to make the sound and music and combine it like in a synesthesia work.
So it was big public spectacles,
Yes.
as well as more intimate scientific experiments.
Yeah. This one is for cosmos, for cosmonauts in the space. So they has to look on this box and like to have relaxation in the space. And when there's something bad happens in the station, there is become some kind of lighting and sounds.
This is the Kremlin.
Yeah, it's like the most touristic and most historical place. And actually, historically, Kazan started here. And all the city in like 12th century, when Kazan was like very small, it was inside the walls.
When people think of Kremlin, that word, they think of kind of a Russian, Orthodox Christian kind of fortress, like the one in Moscow, for instance. But here we've got this beautiful mosque and Orthodox church side by side, right?
Yeah.
This is like, that's the kind of the character of Tatarstan.
Yeah, and it's always like it became a cliche that in the Kremlin we have a church and a mosque nearby. It's like the idea of living Russian and Tatars in the same place at the same time peacefully.
So, do young people speak Tatar?
I think like more old people speak Tatar because it's like traditional. It's like more used to them. Often when you speak to young people here in Tatarstan and they try to speak to you in Tatar, it's like strange because both of you know that you know Russian and it will be more easier to speak in Russian than in Tatar.
But there are young people who are kind of aware of that as an identity, like a cultural identity, who kind of try, even if they don't speak Tatar, they try and like bring that Tatar identity into kind of
There is like
culture.
activist movements who like to speak Tatar. They have camps, they like communicate with each other, they write music in Tatar language, they write poems in Tatar language.
Kazan is a unique reminder that Russia is far from a homogeneous place. The young creatives I've met here don't need to rely on outside references. Tatar influences come naturally to them, and there's much more to the city than folklore cliches. Kazan proves that cultural heritage can thrive in a modern urban space.